Hello everyone and welcome to the very first episode of VALECAST, brought to you with main club sponsor Motive Offshore Group. In this series, we'll be taking you closer to the players and management of Devon Vale Football Club than ever before, as well as offering you the opportunity to ask your questions. We hope you're all keeping safe and well in these continued difficult times. Unfortunately, we're no closer to the resumption of play in the league, but hopefully this new series will whet your appetite for a return to Princess Royal Park in the not too distant future. I'm delighted to kick off VALECAST with our first guest, a man that is very well known to the Vale as a player, first team coach and assistant manager. With the departure of former manager and Vale legend Steve Dolan at the end of last year, he stepped in to take over the reins in an interim capacity before being offered the position of first team manager on a permanent basis. I'm very happy to introduce our new gaffer, Craig Stewart. Craig, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine, Callum, thanks.
Good. And big news coming out of the club this week with the appointment of Michael Mo Morrison as your new assistant manager, another well-known name around the Highland League. How did that all come about, and what do you think he'll bring to the club?
Michael, I think he'll bring a lot. To be fair, I think his experience and all the years in the level that he's played at in Highland League. He's a Highland League winner. Has won I think he's won the League Cup and he's won the North of Scotland Cup, I think 5 times. As well as maybe the Inverness Cup as well, and a couple other trophies there. He also brings a wee bit of league experience, having played for Elgin. So, and like I say, he's played at the top end of the Highland League, and he's a winner, and that's what I like about him. He was the first name on my kind of list for being an assistant, to be honest. And obviously with the kind of COVID and stuff just now, it's took a wee bit of discussion, or it's give us an opportunity to hear that discussions. And it's apparent through kind of that conversations that we're pretty much in the same wavelength, and our opinions about certain things regarding kind of team selection and how things should be is very similar. So I think he's a good fit for not just me, but for the group of players that we've got.
Excellent. And you're a man with terrific experience yourself in management. You've had the top roles with Devonside and Ellen in your career, and assistant roles obviously with the Vale, Turriff and for Martin. So how do you feel about taking on your first Highland League manager role? And do you think that appointment's going to have an impact on the playing squad?
I think, first of all, I'm excited to have the opportunity to kind of be the main man, if you like. I've got no doubts about my own ability when it comes to that. I suppose, can I get in that opportunity to go for Martin with Pelly, which interestingly enough, Michael Morrison was assistant manager to Pelly at Dufton a couple of years ago. But no, I think that gave me a way into the Highland League, if you like, and I'm very appreciative of that. But my aim was always to be my own man at some point. So no, I've got no doubts about my inability and being the main man. So no, excited, like I say, and really look forward to it.
Brilliant.
Was it you asked about the players, the impact the players have had on the players? No, I think most are happy. I think just to get a bit of clarity, a bit of confirmation that kind of there's somebody in charge going forward. I think there's nothing worse than being left in limbo as a player for MD, but certainly for the players, they know what's happening now moving forward. It's assistant manager in place now, so they know who their management team is, and that's important for players kind of that are out of contract, players that are coming into the club. It might not suit some of the players that are out of contract, and that's fine. They want to be on board or they don't, and they want to be part of it or they don't. So, and that's the way it's got to be. So, no, but so far, like I say, I kind of fault the players' kind of attitude and commitment towards training, and which is a tough times at the minute.
Absolutely. And you've been quoted as saying you wouldn't have felt comfortable taking on the role without the blessing of Dippy, and you've obviously worked alongside him for a number of years now. So with that, do you see that there's a need for a change within the club? Maybe in terms of match preparations on the training ground, playing style, things like that.
I know. Listen, it's a question, and I've been quoted saying that I wouldn't have stepped into Dippy's shoes. and that's why I needed that for Dippy. When things went the way they did, I did need his blessing to a point. But it's that thing, you get a wee feel for it. And certainly around about the time that Dippy left and until the time, right up till the time that I was appointed, it's certainly very much a case I was in regular conversation, and still we will be in regular conversation with Dippy. That kind of relationship hasn't been soured in any way. And so that was important. That definitely was important.
No, that's good. So, and as a proud Banff man yourself, do you think, does that give you extra motivation to see the Vale battling nearer the top of the table again and reaching latter stages of cup competitions, or do you think that maybe brings the additional pressures to perform well?
The most pressure I'll get will be for myself. That's the kind of honest answer. I will put enough pressure. I've got my own standards and expectations, and those are maybe a bit higher than what the club have or certainly the board have put in front of me just now. But I need to work like that. There's no point in going into it half-hearted. There's no point in going in and saying, well, if we can finish bottom half or we can finish a point higher than last year, it's progress. That's not how I see it. It is. I'm in it to win. I'm in it to be successful. Whether that's gonna, and I'm not saying that we're going to go and win a league in the next couple of years. I'm not saying that, but there needs to be substantial and significant progress. Whether it's league, whether it's cup competitions, we'd love to get the cup final, win a cup. And I don't think we're that far away. I think onward day, I think we can beat any team in the league. But we are short. We are short in a couple of places. So no, I don't. Like I say, the pressure's I don't feel any additional pressure at all. So the pressure comes from me, and I'm sure my assistant will be pushing in the same direction as well.
Good to have that ambition there, that's for sure. So, the last year, or so has obviously been really challenging, not just within football and within the Highland League, but life itself. But, what have you been doing to keep the players' morale and fitness at peak level during all these multiple lockdowns that we've had? And what's your thoughts regarding the current season? Do you think we'll see that out?
First of all, I'm really unsure whether this season will be played to finish or not. I think the next kind of 2 to 3 weeks are obviously vital. I think if they didn't start by mid-March, then I think it's going to be very difficult. I think, although I was against maybe the decision to play a 15-game season, it's looking like a good decision now, to be honest. And I think if they do get going middle of March, say, it does give an opportunity to maybe get that season finished, which is important. In terms of getting the players motivated and keeping them going, players have been given their own kind of Strava runs, and they've got to record them as a group and individually. To me, to be fair, again, attitude's been first class, and most of the lads are doing their bit. However, what I will say is it's soul destroying. Lads training themselves is okay now and again, and it's not a problem if you get it once every blue moon that, right, lads, this week for whatever reason you've got to do your own runs or whatever yourself, whether it be a weather issue or not. But this is kind of dragged on now, and the stop-start kind of stop-start season and stop-start training is soul destroying for players and very, very difficult. A lot of them are self-motivated. Mm-hmm. However, not everybody is able to be self-motivated, and there are a few players that are struggling with it, struggling to get motivated. Not just a case of doing runs for me or doing runs for Devon Vale, but just even for their own point of view and their own well-being. I think boys have struggled with it, and the pleasing thing about that is that players have been able to open up, and they have been able to speak to me and just say, look, I am struggling with this, I am struggling with that, and which is great. I think that's the positive side of that, is that players are able to pick up the phone and speak. So no, it's been difficult. It's been very, very difficult. But again, it goes back to that thing, being in limbo, and players are in limbo at the minute. They're not sure what's happening. So I can only hope that there is kind of football soon, or certainly training together as a group soon again. But like I say, it is only hope, Callum.
Yeah, no, fingers crossed anyway. And obviously your role outside of football will, benefit to yourself in those conversations with the boys as well, So
Absolutely.
that's great. So turning a little bit negative, I suppose, just for a second, it's obviously I would say it's fair to say that, we didn't get off to the greatest of starts at the start of this league campaign and some of the cups, from a results point of view. What do you kind of put that down to, and what are you looking to do to turn that around for when we do get back to playing football?
There's definitely factors contributing to kind of the results at the beginning and end of the season, that's for sure. And again, lockdown plays a part. Now I can that there'll be people out there that'll say, oh, it's just an excuse. It's reality. It is reality. As I've touched on already, lockdown is kind of impacted on players in lots of different ways. The stop-start to training right through lockdown. Again, players doing things themselves. It's okay doing things themselves, but it's not the same as doing kind of training sessions as a group. You kind of work on things. You kind of work on set pieces, set plays, shape, formation. You kind of work on any of that stuff. Well, you can across a screen, but there's nothing better than getting on the pitch and doing it in the pitch. So I think we started the season behind some other teams. Which again, we get Broda first game of the season. They're up and running with their season, having played in the kind of League Cup and stuff against kind of the likes of Hibs and Dundee United, I think it was. So they were playing kind of top teams. So they had a proper pre-season, if you like, or proper preparation. And I think we were playing catch up to other teams as well, because of training facilities, and when it comes down to cost, I think there was issues around about kind of how much we were training as a group together, expenses. On top of that, and it's always something that managers, I suppose, moan about, but there was injuries. There was kind of injuries to key players. You've got Matthew Wallace and Kyle Willicks that came back in the friendly games and the build up to the start of the season, got injured, which has went on to kind of being a wee bit longer term than what we would have liked. Colin Charlesworth was another key player who's long term. He's waiting for an operation, which will be later on in the year. And you had other players that were picking up kind of little niggly injuries, a lot of ankle and knee injuries, which was unusual, especially ankles. With a lot of ankle injuries as well. I think with Max Stewart, who picked up ankle injury. Grant Noble early on picked up an ankle injury. Ross Aitken was another one that picked up ankle injury. So the impact of that is, although they maybe were available for the first game of the season, they had missed a chunk of the training and friendly games as well. So no, a lot of factors, I would say. And then you've got the COVID stuff and the guidelines you've got to follow and adjust into that. And I know that's the same for everybody, but as I say, it affects everybody different. But I'm just hoping that we can get back to some sort of normality, and hopefully that's next season. I didn't see normality being the case for the remainder of this season in terms of kind of changing rooms and the social distancing. Hopefully come next season, and certainly supporters, and hopefully that can change and we can go for there.
Absolutely, and as you say, a big part of match day at Princess Royal Park is having the supporters there to roar the team on in good times and bad. We've been doing our bit behind the scenes to try and keep fans engaged, during the behind closed doors games, with social media updates and things like that. But what would it mean to you and to the rest of the team there to have the fans back at the ground? And what would your message be to the supporters at this point?
No, listen, we are saying it's a nightmare for kind of players and managers, but it's an absolute nightmare for supporters. I think there's only so much football you can watch on TV, but it's nothing like actually getting down the road and watching the boys at Princess Royal. The players certainly found that really, really strange. We've got a great following, probably the best in the league, when things are going well. And quite rightly, vocally, when things aren't going so well. And that's part and parcel of football. But no, I think you look at games like Scottish Cup, and the supporters are always a big. We always see it as a 12th man. And again, I'm not making excuses for the Scottish Cup result, but we missed that support that day. We really missed it. it was a poor performance, don't get me wrong, but no, I support the Devon Vale support. It's like I say, one of the best, if not the best in the league. And the sooner we get supporters back into football grounds, especially for us, then the better. That's for sure.
Definitely, here. So, you talked about putting pressure on yourself almost to lift performances, but there is a natural pressure, I think, within the club and extended through the supporters possibly to deliver a return to glory years of title triumphs and cup victories. But in terms of the here and now for you as the new manager of the club, what would be your immediate priorities, as well as your longer term ambitions?
I think certainly short term, it's about getting players that I want to sign up their contract extensions. Players that don't want to be in the journey, don't have to be in the journey, and that's all right. I can give them an opportunity that they want to be part of Devon Vale going forward, or they don't, and I'm quite strong about that. And that's fine if they don't. That's absolutely fine. We'll get boys in that kind of want to be part of it. And that's the way it needs to be. In terms of longer term, I think we need to be looking to push into the top 6. I think that's realistic in the next couple of years to get ourselves, because there's a big gulf. There's a big gulf in finances between the kind of, I would say, top 6, 7, 8 teams possibly in the league, and I don't count ourselves on that. From a financial point of view, at the minute we're not in comparison with any of them, that's for sure. But that's not going to stop me from trying to kind of get players in, develop players, try to make them better, and maybe we can push into that top 6 in the next couple of years, and that's got to be my goal. Certainly, we're more than capable of what we've got just now to get a run in the cup, to get to a cup final. A wee bit of luck along the way, which you always need. So I would absolutely love to get to a cup final. But we're a wee bit off top 6 just now. And like I said, the addition of 2 or 3 players in the right positions will certainly help us towards that. That's for sure.
Excellent, thank you. Now we've had a few questions come in from the supporters through social media and through the website and email and things. So a few questions just to put to you from them, Craig. Starting off, just not even specifically about the Vale, I suppose, but what is it about football that gets you excited?
Great question. I've not had for people that know me or don't know me, I've not had a break for football in my life. I think the maximum I've had was maybe a couple of months between for Martin. But I've been lucky enough to step from one job to another. And I can't imagine life without football. Now, if it gets me excited is the winning. And I'm not on about winning cups and winning leagues. Of course, that would excite me, but just winning on a Saturday, scoring goals, seeing your team follow your instructions. From a managerial point of view, certainly seeing your team follow instructions and putting set plays in place that you've worked on, and getting the results off the back of that is the most pleasing thing ever. I, as a player, scoring a goal was the best feeling ever, and I mean the best feeling ever. And I try to install that kind of winning mentality and hunger to score goals, to do well, to win games. That's what makes me tick when it comes to football. It's the scoring goals and winning games. Winning trophies is a bonus and a plus, or winning leagues certainly, and that's got to be the goal. But winning games and seeing results for your team is certainly what makes me tick.
Brilliant. And you've talked about potentially adding a few bodies to the squad in time, and a couple of questions around, I think, squad development and player updates. So one that's come through here, we have got quite a young playing squad on the surface. So are you looking to add a few experienced heads to that to help push you up the league?
Always. I think getting that experienced player or the right experienced player is key. We're not alone. We're not alone in that. There's a few clubs looking for that same player and possibly the same position as well. And it's very difficult. Financially, we maybe can't attract that player at the minute. Hopefully at some point down the line, we are. But that doesn't stop us for looking, that's for sure. I agree we've got a young squad, but at fit point does it stop becoming a young squad? I think players need to stand up and be counted now. I think we've played the young squad thing for a few years. If players are still inexperienced and they've been there for 5 years, then we've got a problem. I think they need to be starting to progress a wee bit, or certainly show up progression on the park, and that's something we need to look at. So we have got a few young boys, yep, definitely, but there are a few kind of older heads through the squad as well, like Colin Charlesworth's been round the block, Grant Noble's been in the game for a long time, Robbie Allen's been in the game for a long time, Kev Adams has been around the Vale for a hell of a long time as well. Ross Aitken, although he must only be 23, I think he's maybe due a testimonial or something. But no, you've got players that have played Highland League football for a long time, and whether it's kind of 8-9 years or whether it's kind of 3, 4, 5 years, for me they are still young players, but there's a bit of experience there, and they need to start showing that. And like I say, that's something we'll be working on as well.
Brilliant. And in the recent months before the kind of the second shutdown of Highland League football, we were able to bring in some exciting players. Bringing back, like say, Greg Buchan on loan and Ryan Sargent. How did that kind of change the team morale both on and off the pitch?
I think when you bring any player in, Callum, I think it gives a playing squad a boost. I think the players are always welcoming a new signing, especially ones that are going to kind of make the team better. But no, any player, but Greg and Sarge were great additions. They are only on loan. I would love to have them permanently. But they give a wee bit of something that we've not got. And I think that's the thing, when you bring them in a player, it's got to be somebody that's going to improve the squad. It's got to be somebody that's going to give us something different, and certainly that too. On top of kind of Ryan Facker and Aaron as well, who we got in for Forest. Ryan been out for a long time, and you could just see signs that he was starting to get back to the player that we tried to sign actually a few years ago when he was at Lossy. So any player coming in is a positive.
And I suppose one of the highlights over the last kind of 8-9 months or so, before all of the COVID stuff hit, was obviously the return from injury of Dane Ballard. So what kind of impact did he have when he came back?
Dane, lockdown came, or arguably came, the first lockdown came at a terrible time for Dane. He was just getting back, he was just getting into the swing of things, and I'm sure Dane wouldn't mind me saying that he struggled during lockdown. Just like a few others, just struggled to motivate to kind of do his bit of training. Even when we were group training, it was tough because there was at one point it was training, no games at the end of it. And Dane loves football. He loves playing football. And when he's not got that end product as in a game, he did struggle. However, what I would say is Dane, just as we've got going again, Dane was getting back to his best. His work rate was magnificent, and his game had changed slightly. Instead of being maybe a box player, he was a lot of his kind of play was out with the box, and I think that's him maturing as an individual. But certainly, when we've got back, before the second lockdown, he was back to his best, back to kind of fighting fit again, and clear his injury, and it's been a long road back for him, but that was a disappointment. He's probably most disappointed when it's went into lockdown again, because he was just back, and a very important player for us. Dane at his best, in my opinion's probably best striker in the league. I rate him as highly as our best finisher, I would say.
Absolutely. Well, here's hoping we can see them all back on the pitch soon enough. That's for sure. So,
definitely.
But no, thank you very much, Craig, and thanks for joining us tonight for this discussion. Goes without saying, obviously, everybody associated with the club wishes you and the squad, the very best going forward, and hopefully getting this season restarted soon or building towards next season. Thank you to all of our supporters who sent in their questions there. To all of our club partners who continue to stand by the club and offer their support going forward, even without football to look forward to at the weekends. And also to all of those people involved behind the scenes who help keep everything ticking over. We'll keep you posted on the next episode of VALECAST on our website and social media pages. But for now, Please do take care, stay safe, keep supporting the Vale, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.